Okay, absolutely. Now, he asked me to go to Motown. He had a couple of friends there, and he wanted me to meet them. And I said, okay, Stanley McDonald. I said, okay, that's a bet. So when I came here to start running track at LA City College, you know, as a youngster, you know, you're 19, 18, getting out of school.
Yeah.
You don't think about those type of things, you know. I kind of like, okay, I'll get to it. You know, because I'm running track, I'm young, I'm in LA, meeting all these new girls and all of that. I'm on my own. I'm like, wow. And I'm singing with a few bands. My brother has a group here. So I'm out doing these nightclubs and I forget about it. So as I'm doing this particular tribute to Paul Robeson, as I mentioned, this young lady propositioned me. And I said, okay, cool. I took her up on it.
Okay, I'm still curious about the whatever.
Oh, you know,
to share that.
to be totally honest, she said, if you take me to dinner and sleep with me. And she was a bit overweight, but very aggressive and very positive. And she had a cute face.
That's a very interesting description.
Well, and you have to think of my hormones were flying around. I'm a college athlete, man. You know, I'm new in school and I'm in college and I'm like, okay, sure. Why not?
Great description. She was cute, she was overweight and aggressive. Yeah, that's a real come on, a real turn on. Most people would run a mile. But you're being honest anyway.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. And it was one of the best moves I ever made.
Okay.
Because I did, and she took me to one of the most fabulous hotels here in town.
Okay.
I couldn't believe it. So I was like, well, you must know somebody to be able to bring me up in here like this, right? So the next morning,
Sell out.
yeah, I was a total sellout. I gave in. And so, some people say, oh, he's weak. He's a hoe. He's a slut. I didn't mind.
Yeah.
I didn't
But
mind.
that's cool. You were complicit that's satisfied.
Absolutely, totally
Yeah.
satisfaction. And she was so pleased. As soon as we got up the next morning,
What are we talking about here?
she rolled over, got on the phone. I talked with her brother-in-law and her sister, and they set up an appointment that day to just sit and talk with me.
Fantastic.
Turns out they were members of the Undisputed Truth,
Oh wow.
starting to put another group together.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh wow, that was my first impression. Okay, and so I went to this meeting, and they auditioned me, and I guess
time. That was
a
the second
second time,
audition, yeah.
and I guess I was as good as they thought I was, because immediately they went over to Norman Whitfield's studio and brought his assistant over, Mark Davis. So Mark Davis came over, and Mark Davis says, wow. And he did what they do in the industry, you know, because back then it was like that crab thing.
Okay, crab in the bucket.
Yeah. I had this happen to me, so I'm going to do this to you. And right now I see an opportunity. I see this young guy who knows nothing, with a great voice and a lot of raw talent. So he takes me over to Norman without the group. He doesn't want me to be in this portion of the Undisputed Truth now. Keep in mind, they had left the Undisputed Truth and were forming their own Undisputed Truth experience.
Right, okay.
Okay? So he took me to Norman and
That's
explained
Norman Whitfield.
Norman Whitfield. And Norman Whitfield, he said, well, hum me something. And I just kind of sang the song that I sang for the young lady, you know, and it was called Traveling Man.
Can you give us a bit of a rendition of that?
Sure. Hey, I'm going away, leaving today. I'm gonna start my life all over again. I'll be a better man. Just call me the traveling man. Yes, I'm gonna take the world by the hand and work it out if I can. So he was like, okay, cool, you got a nice little voice, right? And he says, well, I'm doing this project. Now, mind you, he had just finished Car Wash with Rolls Royce.
Oh, okay, yes.
And he was getting all of these movies sent to him. And it just so happened he had to do a soundtrack for this movie, Animal House.
Yes.
This college range, right? And Mark was his assistant on this particular project. So Mark was thinking, I got the guy to do the singing on this project, right? So Norman gives me a CD of Shout by the Isley Brothers. He says, go in this room and I'll give you 20 minutes to learn it. This is how quickly this happened. I'm a young kid. I don't know any better.
You're eager as well, though.
Right. And I'm just used to that. That's the way I learned music. So he gave me the CD. I go in the room 20 minutes, and I come back out. He says, "You ready?" I said, "Yeah." And I look in the studio booth, and it's all these musicians. And I'm like, "Okay." He says, "Okay, you're gonna sing this live with the band." And I was like,
"Wow."
Okay, here we go. I go in and get up under the mic, do my version of it, and all of a sudden everybody's shouting and screaming and all of that, and I'm like, wow, what happened? What happened? And he comes to me afterwards, and he says, I want to introduce you to the Funk Brothers. And it was the Funk Brothers who played behind me. Here I am, 22, right? James Jamerson and all of them are still alive, and they're doing this session on this album, and I'm like, that was the